I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honor to my apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to you, Arkim, that's pushing his truth. This is the Brother Yakalum from the GMS Boston camp. And out of one right desire of the Spirit, this lesson is edifying as well as a faith builder. Now, I came across a video of Dabu and how he was going into what Nick Rockefeller basically shared with Aaron Russo, based upon the universal basic income without him speaking much on it. Because in that interview, he was basically telling Aaron Russo that, their goal was to ultimately chip people so that they can control them. And if they don't comply, they would turn their chip off. And just recently, Dabu was saying how, these devils are talking about giving a universal income, because not only a lot of people going to lose their jobs, but the ultimate control is to get everything from your slave master, let's say, because the majority of Jake do, especially the so-called nigger woman, housing, food stamps, other things as well. They care vouchers to where they don't like to work. And a lot of people that get benefits, and they showed you that with the PUA, how we used to go to the breakfast spot, and the guy was like, listen, man, nobody wants to come back to work because they're making way more money than they did. And this is the thing with these devils. Their ultimate goal is to have a universal basic income. And it's all going to be digitally, and it's all going to be implanted. Now, the thing with that is going into this lesson, because what Dabu is basically saying is what Nick Rockefeller said. And Nick Rockefeller is part of that elite family that knows the plan. And the thing is, he was basically saying that if you do that, basically when they come around and they tell you you have to take this new jump shot, or you have to do this, if you don't comply, they can turn your chip right off. And that's just like how Nick Rockefeller said it. And he showed you that, once again, mentioning, this pandemic, there was so many test runs alone in that thing. Not only how people would respond to a virus, how willingly they would to give up their rights or just go and trust their government, but as well as with that PUA, man. A lot of people was eating off of that. And now, since people are in a chokehold, and this is what this devil is doing, we always bring up, when basically in the Operation Siege, the way, the stock and the stuff and all the material, all the food, all the goods, it's available. But these devils, they have it on lock going into their unrighteous decrees. As Isaiah 10:1 would say, they got these laws to where, or these sanctions, all different type of sanctions and stuff like that. Why? Because they want to starve you Babylonians out, so that when it's time to introduce a whole new money system that's going to be digital, your debt is going to be wiped. As long as you got to do is just, listen, man, take that and just comply with what they want. And remember, they want to bring population down to 500 million. And there was some elite saying that, listen, man, 30,000 people have to die a day or something like that. So this devil is getting ready to perform the plans that the Lord laid out for him. And this is Daniel 8:23, because it says, in a later time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And here you have Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He's not mighty. He's not great. Especially, he's not stronger than Yasharallah. He's not smarter. What did this man do? We came up with the inventions through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This devil created a patent to take control of that. And also with this devil, the Lord blessing him with a sword, because that's what he needed. He needed a weapon. But see, this devil rose to power to be able to talk about a great reset and all that. That's why when you look at these panels, you see predominantly so-called white people. Why? Because like the book of Job says, the earth was given into their hands. So when it says, and not by his own power, what the Lord giveth, the Lord is getting ready to taketh away. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So these devils, You know, this is why it goes to show, you know, the water Yahweh Bashem Shah always say for blessing us with eyes that see and ears that hear. Because when you look at everything as a whole, you would think like, wait a minute, man, I'm not in control of nothing. The scriptures tell you in Proverbs 20:24, man, it's coming and going of the Lord, you know, or damn, this is the wicked, or damn, you know, the Lord didn't tell us not to take that MOTB and not reveal what it is, or not to trust our enemy and not reveal who he was. You would think it would be so simple, but it's not. You think these elites, you know, scripture saying that them being wiser than Daniel, with all their top scholars, would say, listen, man, you know, we're gonna fail miserably. And they got some doubt. This is why they're building those bunkers, but ultimately they're building those things because they're gonna be the first ones going into slavery. So with that being said, you know, because it said he shall magnify himself in his mind, you would think that with all that knowledge, these devils would know that it's not of their power. So the Lord's putting the spirit on these devils to not only do these things, but through his policy. When you look at what went on during the pandemic, how he passed all these different laws and all these, oh, you can't go back to work unless you got this. He was playing with people's lives, and you see how quickly people folded. Now, what more? Because during that time, there was food available. There was work available. People just didn't want to take that thing. So what more when there's nothing available, and the only way to eat or keep that roof over your head, you have to get that MOTB, because your cash ain't gonna be no good. These devils about the stock market's about to fall. That Bitcoin's not gonna pop, you know? And we can see the signs. It's on the TV. And we always bring up Three Square Market, but you got Sweden. There was also another video of a man, you know, receiving an MOTB, and the first thing he did was exchange money. But hey, listen, I'm going to read that one more time. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace he shall destroy many. What coming with that? We're helping you, just like with the jump shop at this time, with that universal basic income. Like, listen, we understand there's no jobs, but we know you got to survive. Take this thing, and we'll put credits on you. And it reminds me of that movie, in in time with Justin Timberlake, how people had to work just to get a little bit more time to live. And that, man, shit, slavery. Same thing that's going on here, but this is what these devils want. Now going back to what and you know, the spirit inspired this lesson, was Dabu was basically saying what Aaron Russo said. Aaron Russo said that they was gonna do, which was the ultimate goal. And the scripture tells you, man, listen, man, that how their tongue shall in Psalm 64:8, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee them. When you go to the book of Proverbs, it tells you what a prudent man, and matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. Bear with me. Prudent man. This is Proverbs 22:3. It says the prudent bear with me, okay, this is the KJV right here. A prudent man perceiveth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So what I just read in the book of Psalms, when we see these devils talking about this, you know, the Dabus or the Alex Jones, we understand that this is the next phase of the elite's plans. You know, this is the Lord letting us know that we almost out of here, because there's only but a couple of more prophecies that's that's going to happen. And then even when you go back to, you know, the book of Daniel 8, and he says, by peace shall destroy many, that peace and security of offering you a solution out of a world that he made, that solution, you being data backed up to the cloud. This is why for years, you know, being in a video game, you always heard about the cloud. You could back your photos up to the cloud. One great example of that is Altered Carbon. Ultimately, people were able to upload their conscience into a cloud to where they lived forever. And this is, the scripture says that, man, the inward thought is that the kingdom will last forever. But that's not the case, man. The Lord has them in a trick bag. And this is the book of Revelation 13:5, because this is what it comes down to. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Going back, you know, I don't have to post another lesson after this that I have on persecution about the guillotines and those FEMA coffins that were once collecting dust. Listen, those guillotines are soon going to be collecting heads, and those FEMA coffins soon going to be collecting bodies. Why? If you don't want to comply with the NWO. If you think you're gonna riot, they're gonna stick you in a camp, because of the Patriot One and the Patriot Two Act. Man, all they gotta do is deem you a terrorist, and we can see that persecution coming down on Jake, because Adonai that weddles men, and the Lord puts His Spirit on us to endure. We ain't gonna comply, like the Scripture says, "Be thou faithful even unto death." And then it says, "And He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." And why do you think all these nations? It makes sense now. We should sit around and say, "Damn, how's America gonna do that?" Or this China has their own, system. And then when you look at these summits that they be going to, and you see all the nations, the Lord put them to be all on one page. They all gonna be on one page, because trade still, in their mind, trade still gotta go on. Money has to still be exchanged. As you can see with what's going on with the ruble, if you need the oil shit, man, we have to switch to that currency. This is what we have to do. So the same way when it goes digitally, we want some things, and this is how they're gonna get Jake. Jake is gonna need things. And this is the thing too, because they don't put their trust in the Lord, as Jeremiah 17 says, blessed is he that puts his trust in the Lord, but cursed is he that put his trust in the man. Why? Because this devil is just giving you something so that he can kill you. Matter of fact, during the lockdown, they spoke. There was some senator saying that the first people that should get that juicy juice was those that are receiving benefits. And why do you think the B&M Gates Foundation was the saying, "Oh, they need to get into the black and brown communities"? Goes back, man. They're trying to kill y'all. And to finish off Revelation, it says, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. The MOTB is here. It's just not mandatory. I mentioned Sweden, mentioned London, parts of over here in Babylon, they're pushing it. It's here. It's just not mandatory. And this is the thing. It says, "And that no man might buy or sell, that he had the mark or the name of the beast." So since they're hoarding everything, and shit's gonna be scarce, the little things that you can buy, you're gonna have to buy it with that MOTB. And on top of that, they're gonna know everything about you. It goes back to them controlling, knowing how much shit you get, making sure you're paying your taxes. If you're taking a little more, they'll just take from you. You don't want to comply, they'll just take from you, ultimately to where they'll turn off your chip, and then you asked out. And then it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast." So it's saying, here is wisdom. So when you look at these other camps that say, "Oh, that's not the MOTB," or these people, they don't see it, man. They don't. The Lord didn't bless them with that wisdom, you know. And this is the book of Isaiah 30:3. It says, "Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion," because a lot of Jake are gonna take that thing thinking that they gonna get fed, but really they just gonna get their shit cut off, man. And Matthew 16:25 tells you, "For whoever so will save his life shall lose it, and whoever so will lose his life for my sake shall find it." So there's a lot of, I'm gonna say so-called Christians or people that look at the MOTB as the mark of the beast, but that's because they still get to go to work. They still get to go to the grocery store. They still get to do daily things. But when it comes down to where there's only one form to do things, what's gonna happen? A lot of people, I just read it, "For whoever so will save his life shall lose it." Why? Because if you take that, if you bow down and if you want to be ushered in and be a part of their, you want to be a digital slave going into that fourth industrial revolution, that transhuman. Once again, I mentioned altered carbon. Get your conscience backed up. You can live forever and put yourself in different bodies and do all type of abominable things. Because that's Eve's fucking freak you utopia. But the point being is, when you take that, the scripture tells you what's gonna happen. You're gonna be left over here. You're gonna be plagued. Your body's gonna be sore. And then what? You're gonna be hit by those ICBM missiles in the presence of the Lord. But those that will lose their life over that, what? They shall find it. So we're all gonna be tested, with this thing by our family, food, or camp. In the book of Revelation 3:10 says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which will come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." When you look at your spouse or you look at your children, yeah, everybody's down. Like Elder Dama says, when a rubber meets the road, then you'll see what stuff's about. Everybody's down until somebody's hungry. You know, I once had a woman tell me like, oh, if it means my children starving, then I'll go take the chips everybody can eat. No, with them digitally knowing, they're gonna know how much food to give you to only feed you. This is just me speaking as a man, but when you watch, movies, because art imitates life, life imitates art. Here you have stuff like the Last of Us game where they had the ration cards. It was people standing in line at the FEMA thing to get fed, and look what happened. There was no food. They couldn't do nothing. As a matter of fact, you know, so I lock it for studying, stuttering. One of the first visions that the Lord bestowed upon me, I didn't know what it meant because I wasn't in the truth then. But after coming into the truth, it's like, man, the part where there was two lines and the sky was dark and people were standing on the left on the right side getting some kind of injection in their arm and in their hand, and then on the other side it was like conveyor belt, and they came out on the other side and they were being fed food, but it looked like black slime. It looked like a scene out of that movie. They are live, when you put on the glasses and it says obey, um, obey, sleep, and the people, they had to take whatever that was to eat. So we all gonna be tested on that by our wives or our children, even us. But the Lord said what? Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. As well as the Lord said what? In Isaiah 65, he said, my servants shall eat. You know, Look at the account of Daniel. He got fed. Not only was he delivered out of the lion's den, he was fed, man. The Lord made sure that his servant didn't miss a meal, you know? So I just had wanted to go into this lesson showing you how, this dude Dabu 7, he's basically saying with the elites, the Lord already put the spirit on these devils to reveal their plan. And us being wise men, the Lord blessing us to be wise men, we can perceive the future. We can see that we almost out of here. The Lord didn't leave a date, but he left a checklist and we checking. So I hope this lesson was edifying as well as a faith builder. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to your argument that's pushing this truth. Till next time, Yahshua. Shalom.